And we are live now with my good friend Felix Metz. Felix, how are you?
Good, Amari. How you doing? How's everything?
Could you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Felix Metz from St. Thomas University, men's soccer coach here in Miami, Florida. Well, now I'm at
Fel-
home.
you stay there, right? I asked you right before I go online. You ended up staying in Miami during this time?
Yeah, I was staying here, trying to take care of my kids because they are distant learning, take care of the family on top of course, recruiting, finishing what I have to do at St. Thomas.
And you have two kids, right?
Yeah, I have a boy and a girl. Not a soccer players, neither.
Nice. So you don't need to train them at home. You just need to school
No,
them at home, right?
just make sure that they're good at school. Yeah.
So how is that working for them? Their classes also in Miami are online, and you have
Yeah,
to teach them.
Yeah, so the whole Miami-Dade County, Broward County, all online. So all the classes, what they call distance learning. Therefore, teachers send them assignments, whether it's through Zoom, whether it's through just, hardcore paperwork. And they got to do everything. They got to do their homework, and we got to send it back to the teacher. So it's been like this for a week already, So,
And how is St. Thomas University dealing with the whole situation?
like everybody else. So school got closed about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. Everybody is on a hold, but we as coaches, of course, we're recruiting, we're still looking for players because we gotta fulfill the roster, because like everybody else, I think it will pass. It's hard times, it's hard times here in the United States. I'm sure it's hard times in Brazil and everywhere else, but the bottom line, we know in August we hope everything is going to be ready to go and we can play. And some
And since you mentioned the recruiting part, were you almost done with the recruiting by March, or you still had a lot of players to sign? How is that
for
affecting that?
no, for us usually, yes, March, April, we get our players in, so we were not, it hurt us in some way because we were not fully done recruiting. We, as you remember, we have two teams. We have reserve and the main team. Therefore, we're looking for 55 players. So we're still kind of working. We do a lot of Zoom, just like this, trying to bring players in, show them St. Thomas through the through the video, and so like that. How's your son
And
doing?
he's around here somewhere.
Yes,
He
I can
could be
hear him.
showing up here sometime.
That's great. That's beautiful.
But how's the training sessions are now? Are you giving anything to them online?
No, pretty much what they do, they got to be on their own. We gave them a workout regiment. That's the only thing that we can do because we cannot make them go outside. But they know what they have to do. We send them a few things that they have to do on their own to get better. Sometimes we send them so we call like audio, video, a breakdown of the games, and that's how we do it.
Okay, wait, he's here somewhere. Come here, say hi to Coach Felix. He's shy. He just
That's
wants
good.
to play, I guess.
That's good. Yeah,
Pouquinho,
no.
papai já vai. But anyways, so as far as the recruiting, you still need to get some
Yep,
players in. You're doing
yep,
Zoom,
yep, yeah.
and
Yep.
as far as training, you're not allowed to train. Are the
No,
boys,
of course.
especially the international players, have them go home or they stayed on campus?
So as you know, we have I would say what 75%, 80% to 20%, 70 to 30%, 70% international players, 30% local players, maybe even 60-40. So most of the international players went home because you remember there was a time that, let's say, in Europe, border was about to be closed. The same with South America. So players said, most of them said, you know what, if I want to be with my family, so they
Yeah.
went home. Local players, of course, most of our players, the local ones from Miami, so they back with their family on their own. So I check with them pretty much every other day, see how they doing, making sure they're in a good spirit. They doing something, then staying active, whether they go for a run in the morning by themselves or stay home doing something. So their mind is strong and they're physically still strong.
And I talked to Steve also at Barry University, our friend, and he
Yeah.
said that in Miami, it's not as bad as some other places in the US as far as the coronavirus affecting. Did you know of anyone that got affected by the coronavirus directly?
Well, it hit home close because my uncle from my wife's side, he's in a hospital. So yeah, for some people, it's
And
it's
he's in
it's
Miami.
He's in Miami. Yeah, I mean, we live about 5 miles away. But he traveled. He came back, and he's in a hospital. I mean, he's fighting. He's fighting. It's he. So for some people, it just it happened somewhere else, and it hit home close. Plus, one of my players from Spain, our captain, as a matter of fact, his grandma in Spain in a tough situation as well. So it's for some it's okay, just kind of a conversation, but for some it's a reality. So it's not easy.
Yeah, I know. And as far as the international players, do you expect them to be back sometime, or is still taking like day by day as far as the school's gonna restart in the fall? The spring semester is over for sure, right? You're just gonna
Yeah,
take it online until the end, and then see how it is throughout the summer, and then see if you can go back in the fall, right?
yeah. I mean, the hope is that August we're back to normal. That's not up to us. That's up to the
Yeah, of course.
situation. That's up to everything else here. But I hope that by August 9th, that's supposedly our preseason. We're back if everything is open, and of course we can hit the ground running, because I'm sure like you and it feels overwhelming at
Yeah,
times. So it's
yeah,
time to
of
do
course.
things, but we wait. That we don't know.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the recruiting part. Do you have more time now to check your emails and communicate with players that you're trying to recruit? At least this side's getting better for you because there's no training
Right,
or no more
right.
activities.
Yeah, it's 50-50. Again, like you said, you have a kid, I have two kids, so I gotta do distance learning with them. I gotta make sure they are healthy.
You're still busy, right?
Yeah, so I become like an 100% all around father. At the same time, I have to recruit. We're doing a lot of things to bring players in, because our roster's still not full. We're still missing a few ingredients that we need to bring. So we're still working a lot on a video just like this, or WhatsApp, to bring players in. But it's not easier, because if right now would be just a regular day, I would have a training, I would have things at St. Thomas, and then kind of recruiting. Now it's being a father, taking care of things here, but at the same time making sure we bring players, because like I said, I believe in August we're back to normal, and I hope
Yeah.
everything is back.
And what can you say to the international players that are looking for schools and they don't know what to do right now? Could you give
Right.
any suggestions, recommendations on how to email coach, on how to communicate with coach all over the US?
Yeah, well, don't change anything, guys. If I'm talking to players abroad, don't change anything. Make sure you start sending things in, and communicating through coaches. WhatsApp video is available. That never changed. On top of that, for example, St. Thomas kind of understood that things are different. Some people cannot take TOEFL, because TOEFL was scheduled, let's say, at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
time. It's canceled. So St. Thomas, even though right now our TOEFL was 71, I believe, we kind of dropped it a little to 69, 68, to allow some students to have that flexibility. Because if they took it once and let's say they got 68, in the past it would be difficult to get into St. Thomas. But now we allow with 68 to get in a small interview with admissions, international admissions, and you can still get accepted. So it's in some way still possible, still doable, and a little easier.
But do you think the financial part of it, the school is willing to be more flexible about it because the economy is doing really bad, not only in South America, but not only in Brazil, but in South America in general, and I'm sure in other countries that you recruit players from. Do you think they'll be willing to help them out a little bit more than what they already do?
Well, it's a funny thing. I just had a conversation with my athletic director, kind of explained that, even some local players just texted me, Coach, listen, we have this kind of scholarship. I was happy. I was working hard. I respected everything. But now things change. My parents lost the job. I really need help. I had this conversation with our athletic director. So she's brainstorming, because we don't want to lose the players that were playing. And of course, we don't want to lose new players, because they may be in that situation. A parent lost the job, and now the budget that was feasible no longer feasible. So it's in a standby. But like I said, my athletic director is very proactive, and she's testing all the avenues and trying to figure it out how we're gonna you know deal with that.
Just because, for instance, like if you had signed a player from Brazil
Yeah.
or South America like a month ago, now whatever he's paying, it's almost double of the money because the fluctuation of the dollar in South America against the Brazilian currency, against the Argentinian currency,
Yeah.
and it's being really bad for the players. So I think there's going to be some kind of financial aid for South American players in general, because I know you like to have a lot of South Americans in your
Yeah.
team, and his economy right now is just hurting really bad.
Yeah, no, and that's what the conversation. We hope so. We hope we're still not going to lose good players, and we'll still be able to help. And that's the conversation that athletic director will have, and I think our president understands that as well. So, we will not. We hope that we will find a way to maybe financially balance whatever we need to balance to have a strong group of guys coming in. Because you're right, we have many players from Brazil playing. We have many players from Argentina,
Argentina,
Uruguay. Yeah. So but it's the same with Europe. As you know, we have
yeah,
some European players, and it's very similar. Italy
yeah,
got hit pretty hard.
yeah.
Norway and everybody. So I mean, I understand.
Yeah,
But in South
but when I
America,
when
is
I
tougher.
like when I say more about South America, it's because the fluctuation of the dollar against the Brazilian money, for instance, or the pesos, it's really high. As far as in Europe, the euro is still a little bit higher than the dollar.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
economically, a lot of parents could lose their job, but the
yeah,
currency is still strong enough to make sure that they can afford. But in Brazil, it's just the value is just not the same anymore. Like you offer a
yeah.
scholarship to a guy last year, he could afford 10,000, 15,000 a year. Right now,
Right,
he needs to afford the double of it,
right.
because just the fluctuation.
So what's the currency now in Brazil? We're talking about.
So last year was about 3.8, $1
Okay,
against 3.8. So
okay.
they paid 3. A Brazilian used to pay 3.8 times more than a $1.
So
So if
now
it's
it's eight,
$10,000, he was paying 38,000 Brazilian reais. So now it went up to 5.5.
double,
So if a
almost a double.
Brazilian, almost double. So if a Brazilian player is paying $10,000, he's paying 55,000 reais. So you see
Wow.
the difference. Like
Yeah,
I have a lot of students that are waiting to see how the economy is going to react to
mm,
the whole pandemic
right,
situation, to see if they're going to be able to go to school in
right.
the US at all.
Well, with us, of course, if everything we believe everything will be all right. So whatever we agree with the player, it will never change. But now with that circumstances, like you said, that Real is a double, that's a great conversation. And like I said, our AD is on it, because our school is very thick history of international players, and especially
Yeah,
from
yeah.
Brazil, especially from South America, because we so close in Miami, so close with So yeah.
And as far as recruiting, also, what kind of players do you like to recruit for your program? You can say technically and personally, any kind.
Oh, it's we in Miami here. First of all, we have very good uh, culture of football here, and we understand that it's the weather here is very warm. So technical players that keep the ball. Not to say that we don't want our players to run, but playing long ball in hot weather it's difficult. So we're trying to combine as much as we can. We're trying to keep the ball as much as we can. But at the same time, myself, I was born in Europe, so I'd like to play a little both. Yeah, but
You
of
like
course,
to mix. You do
yeah,
the mix. You have the
yeah,
Argentinians running in the midfield, but also you have the Europeans, tall
yeah,
players up top, running up and down. You do a
yeah.
good mix.
We've been successful. We have a thick history of good football. We produced, good results. We have very good people, and at the end of it all, we try to bring good players, but good people as well, because we want them to graduate and become, good individuals. Because the bottom line to me, and I always tell my players, this is 4 years of soccer, but that's it. And after that, you have to become man. You have to become good people. You have to have really good character and move on. But yeah, for this 4 years, we want to bring talented, responsible soccer players.
As far as this summer's soccer in Miami, especially, have you heard anything about it?
Well, like for example, UPSL. I coach UPSL team as well, and on hold till May. Everything is on hold till May.
And then in May,
Athletics.
you're gonna hear what's gonna happen, right?
Right. Yeah. So in May 1st, I think there will be another directors meeting for UPSL, and they're gonna make that final decision whether we move on or we continue.
Okay, cut off a
Do
little
you
bit,
see
but
me?
we're
Yeah.
back now. But sounds good. We're 15 minutes up.
Okay.
I know we could be talking for another hour here about soccer in US in general. But thank you so much for taking this 15 minutes to talk to me about it. And we'll be in touch. Okay, Felix, we hope everything gets better over there too.
Perfect. Awesome. Omari, you be careful. Stay safe.
You too. Bye.
To the bone.